Mayor Gerardo Sanchez,
Present.
Vice Mayor Matias Rosales,
Present.
Councilmember Mario Buchanan Jr.,
Present.
Councilmember Luis Cabrera,
Present.
Councilmember Africa Luna Carrasco,
Present.
Councilmember Jose Ponce, Councilmember Gloria Torres.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Councilmember, let's see, Luis Carrera, could you lead us to pledge of allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under
under
God,
God,
liberty
and justice for all.
Thank you. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. Let's pray. Father, we come to you again tonight with hearts that are wide open for the decisions that we need to make. Lord, we thank you for the slowdown of the pandemic. We thank you for just healing those that are in desperate need, but we just pray for those that continue to get it. And Father, those that continue to struggle with the pandemic and with COVID-19, we pray that you would continue to touch them. And we thank you that the deaths rates are slowing down as well. We thank you for those opportunities that we have to at least comfort those and comfort the families. We just pray now that you would guide us and direct us again as you've called us to each and every day. We thank you for all the blessings that you've given us, and we pray now for the wisdom that surpasses all of the understanding. We ask it in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Chief. We're going to go ahead and go with the consent agenda. All matters are considered routine by City Council, being acted by one motion. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Minutes of works session held February 3rd, 2021. Regular council meeting held February 10th, 2021. Regular council meeting held February 24th, 2021. Total disbursements from February 13, 2021 to February 28, 2021 was $534,660.86. I will now entertain a motion.
Mayor, move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
There's a motion, there's a second. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All those against? Motion carries. Thank you, Council. We're going to go with item number 5A, discussion of possible action on any and all matters regarding the award of contract to J2 Engineering and the Environmental Design LLC for a downtown redevelopment plan. Jenny Torres, Economic Development Manager.
Good afternoon, Mayor, members of the council. The City of San Luis went out for a request for proposals, trying to hire a consultant to help us put a redevelopment plan together. We received 3 proposals from J2 Engineering and Environmental Design, the partnership with Matrix, and the Planning Center and Planet Communities. The bids that we received, or the proposals, were Planet Communities at $227,305. The Planning Center was $184,836, and J2 Matrix was $172. The evaluation committee composed of our Public Works Director, our Planning and Zoning Director, our Parks and Recreation Director, and the Economic Development Manager from the City of Somerton. They all review the proposals and score them accordingly to the request for proposal guidelines. J2 Matrix received a total of 430 points, Planet Communities 391, and the Planning Center 408. Based on the review of the proposals and the costs, the evaluation committee is recommending that you award the contract to J2 Engineering in the amount of $172,000 that will be paid in 2 fiscal years. Mr. Jeff Velasquez and Felipe Zubia from J2 Engineering and Matrix are on the line if you have any specific questions on how they're proposing to move forward with the plan.
Jenny, quick question. What made them different than the others? I know you mentioned points, but were you part of the committee?
Yes, I was. I think what J2 brought to the table is, one is their proposal was very organized, it was very professional made, it was very easy to get the information. Two, they implemented the methodology and the approach of how they're gonna put this together was very detailed, so we understood exactly what they were gonna be doing. The third is they implemented a lot of the methods of how they were going to incorporate art into the downtown, how they were going to incorporate festivities into the downtown. So I think they had a lot of good information and understood the community's needs.
Good, very good. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you. Thank you, Jenny. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor to any questions. Let's see here. Luis Cabrera, comments, questions, concerns?
No, Mayor, no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Mario Buchanan Jr., comments, questions, or concerns?
None, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, any comments, questions, or concerns?
None, Mayor, thank you.
Gloria Torres, comments, questions, or concerns?
No, Mayor, no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Africa Carrasco, any comments, questions, or concerns?
None, Mayor.
Thank you. Then I will now entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to award the bid to J2 Engineering and Environmental Design LLC as presented in the amount of $172,000 to be funded in 2 fiscal years.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Item number 5B, discussion and possible direction of staff and in all matters regarding requests for qualifications, RFQ for on-call engineering services, RFQ number 2021001. Mary French Jones, grants writer.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council and staff. The city conducted on-call NRF request for qualifications on January 12th, 2021 for on-call engineering services. We issued, this on-call was posted to the Yuma Sun, the Baja, El Sol, the Yuma Plan Room, and also posted on the city's website in the bid documents. The city conducted a pre-proposal. It was an optional pre-proposal meeting on January 27th. We issued 2 addendums to address requests for clarifications. The city conducted a proposal opening on February 11th at 4 p.m. A review committee reviewed the 7 proposals submitted. Upon review and evaluation, it was determined in the best interest of the city to advance all 7 to the council with staff recommendation.
Mary, was it 7 or was it 8?
It was 7.
Okay, good.
It was 8 5 years ago.
Okay.
So the background on this is the city issued a request for qualifications back in 2016, and a referral list was compiled with 8 firms on it at that time.
Okay, good. And they all met the qualifications and they all met everything?
Yes,
according
sir.
to the committee? Okay.
Yes, they did.
Okay, good. I have no questions. We need the on-call people. Good. I'm now going to open the floor to any comments, questions, or concerns. Luis Cabrera, comments, questions, or concerns?
No, Mayor, no questions. Thank you.
Mario Buchanan Jr., any comments, questions, or concerns?
None, Mayor. Thank you.
Vice Mayor, comments, questions, or concerns?
None, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Let's see here. Gloria Torres, comments, questions, or concerns?
No, Mayor. None.
Thank you. Africa Luna Carrasco, comments, questions, or concerns?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay, no comments, questions, or concerns. So we'll now take a motion. Oh, actually, it's a discussion. So proceed. It's no action. It's just a recommendation. So proceed, Mary, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Item number 5C, discussion and possible action of staff and in all matters regarding a request for qualifications RFQ for the on-call architectural services, RFQ N 2021-002. Mary?
Yes, Mayor. This process followed almost identically to the on-call engineering services. The city is growing and at such a rate that staff thought it was prudent to do on-call services for architects also to eliminate the repeated costs for architects just through an RFP. So the same thing occurred. We issued architectural services on January 12th. We also conducted a pre-proposal meeting. We issued one addendum and conducted a proposal opening on January 11th at 3 p.m. The committee reviewed all four from qualified engineering firms and is recommending that all four be placed on a referral list.
Thank you, Mary. I have no questions. I want to go ahead and open the floor to council and see if they have any recommendations or comments or concerns. Luis Cabrera, comments, questions, concerns?
None, thank you.
Mario Buchanan Jr., comments, questions, concerns?
Madam Mayor, thank you.
Vice Mayor, comments, questions, or concerns?
None, Mayor, thank you.
Gloria Torres, comments, questions, or concerns?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Figueroa Carrasco, comments, questions, concerns?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Mary, the consensus was proceed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see here. We're going to go with item number 5D. Discussion and possible action on in all matters regarding Resolution 2156, the resolution of the mayor and the City Council of the City of San Luis, Arizona. One, approving the sale and execution and delivery of pledge excise tax revenue obligations, taxable series 2021, evidencing proportionate interest of the owners thereof in the third excise tax purchase agreement, approving the form and authorizing the execution and delivery of necessary agreements, instruments, and documents related to the sale and execution delivery of such obligations, adopting post-issuance, continuance, disclosure, compliance procedures in connections with issuance of obligations of the city and contingency reserve fund policy, delegating authority to the finance director of the City of San Luis to transfer of appropriations within the fiscal year 2021 budget of the city, delegating authority to the mayor, manager, and finance director of the city to determine certain matters and terms with respects to the foregoing, authorizing and taking all other actions necessary to consummate of the transactions completed by this resolution and declaring an emergency. Mark Reeder, underwriter and manager director to public finance for St. Nicholas and Company. Who's going to represent this?
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. On the council meeting of February 3rd, we were given direction to secure obligations to pay the unfunded liability of our public safety retirement plan. This is the reason the item is presented today for your consideration and approval. Mark Reeder and his partners will be giving a brief presentation of this item. I'll leave the Mark.
Thank you. Yeah. Can you hear me, Mr. Mayor, members of the council?
Mark, yes, we can. Please proceed.
Hello. Good evening. I was going to share a screen here if I could.
Yes, please.
And give the council a brief update on the transaction. I know that we had a study session last month, and some of this will be a little bit of a repeat, but I'll go ahead and give you an update. So I cannot share yet until I think I get permission.
They're giving you permission right now, Mark.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I'm still, okay, here we go. Yeah, there we go. I think I can. Can you see that? Not
Yes.
yet. You can, okay.
Yes.
Let me just correct my screen here a little bit, Mr. Mayor. Okay, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, good evening. This is kind of some updated information. What we thought we would do, since we had a very good study session on this a few weeks ago, on page 1 here, this is just a review of the transaction. And as Ms. Castro mentioned, we want to refinance out the $8.3 million Tier 1, Tier 2 unfunded police and fire pension liability occurring at 7.3% with a city bond issue that we're considering this evening. And we've run some numbers recently at about 3.01%. We're going to work very hard for you, and we're sure hoping maybe we can get down in the high 2% money, but bear with us. But we're going to run all this at about 3%. That allows us, if you recall, to eliminate the significant doubling of your payments, tripling of your payments as currently structured with PSPRS. And we're going to go ahead and chop that mountain down. And we're going to replace it with about $730,000 per year. And we're going to stabilize that in your budget. And as you recall, we are expecting at the moment an estimated net present value savings of around $5 million, which is obviously very good news for our city. And we're going to adopt, and we're going to spend a few minutes on this contingency reserve fund that we're going to set aside that will allow you to continue to manage the unfunded liability as we go forward. As you know, once we close the transaction, at that time, we will be at or around 100% funded, okay? We were able to work carefully with Monica and her staff. They've been working very hard, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, and we were able to find sufficient budget capacity. Under Arizona budget law, we are required to have sufficient budget capacity if we close a transaction this year, which we're expecting to do, as you know. And through Monica's hard work and staff's hard work, we were able to do that. So some of this, we thought for a while we were going to have to incorporate some real property, and we're not going to have to do that because we were able to find the budget capacity. And so again, a lot of this is what we went over last time. I think what I'll do is take you to this slide, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. On the right-hand side, the red line is if we do nothing at all. And the blue line, of course, is the $730,000 more level debt structure that we're going to achieve with this refinancing. The brown line here is the contingency reserve fund that Claude is going to walk you through briefly here in a moment. And this is kind of our budget and our sources and uses of funds that we shared with you, and our $5.1 million estimated expected present value savings. And so, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I think what I'm going to do now is have my colleague Claude Lockhart just give you a quick overview on the discussions we've had with staff on the implementation of a very important contingency, call it a rainy day fund, but we call it a contingency reserve fund that was mathematically calculated with staff. And we've come up with a recommendation. And I think as part of our resolution this evening, you would adopt a policy relative to this matter. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Claude Lockhart. Claude, can you share with council what you and staff have come up with on this? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mark. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Very pleased to be with you here tonight. The contingency reserve fund policy that we've been working with staff on is something that's been adopted by many of the other entities across the state of Arizona that have decided to move forward with the refinancing of their PSPRS liability. And it's essentially cash reserve that's held for the benefit of the city. And in the event that PSPRS experiences adverse conditions, and that could be returns that don't meet the actuarial assumed rate of 7.3%, or actuarial assumption changes that, perhaps over time we find that people are living longer or pay raises are given that are higher than previously expected. If there's some of those assumption changes over time that create a higher liability for the city, which would result in new payment obligations by the city, this cash reserve, this contingency reserve fund, is intended to serve as a resource for the city to utilize in those scenarios. And like Mark had suggested, we worked with staff and we used some mathematics here based on the pension liability of the city and a handful of assumptions regarding actuarial assumption changes and market returns. And we came up with the size of about $1,006,000. And 50% of that is expected to be funded through the general fund, and the other 50% would be funded through proceeds of the financing. At the bottom of the page here, we just drew out a few high points from the contingency reserve fund policy that's a part of your resolution tonight. I think the biggest one here is CRF draws, contingency reserve fund draws. We established some rules where the money can be accessed. It's not really designed to be something where if anything happens, you can dip into it. It's really something that's there for more significant events. And then to make this a long-term sustainable tool, we also have rules for contingency reserve fund replenishment. So to the extent that you draw down some of that money to the best of the city's ability, that policy highlights that you will try to replenish that over a 5-year period. We also have some rules there for dissolving the contingency reserve fund at the bottom once you've been able to pay off the obligations that we're discussing tonight. I think that will end my discussion of that, and be happy to take any questions.
This is Mayor Sanchez. No, you were very clear. No, it makes sense to have that contingency and to make sure the payment is we do have the funding for it. So, and it's very smart of us to do this. And you mentioned that other communities are doing the same thing.
Everyone that we've worked with so far has established one in some form.
Okay, good. No, that's very clear. It's something that we need to do, and something to protect the city and make sure that we abide by those obligations and that commitment, the financial commitment. It is quite extensive. It is close to 700. It's going to be over 750 some thousand per year. So that will limit us. But no, it's something that needs to be done. No, good job, good work. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor for discussion and questions from council. Vice Mayor, comments, questions, and concerns?
No, sir. Appreciate the hard work and bringing this back to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Luis Cabrera, comments, questions, and concerns?
No, I think this is very clear. Thank you guys for the hard work.
Thank you. Gloria Torres, comments, questions, and concerns?
No, Mayor, no. Thank you.
Mario Buchanan Jr., comments, questions, and concerns?
No, thank you. Thank you for the presentation.
Africa Carrasco, comments, questions, and concerns?
None, Mayor. Thank you.
If not, here. This is an action item, is it, or is it a recommendation?
It's an action item, Mayor. This is Kay. It's a motion to accept the resolution.
Okay, very good.
And I will put the agenda back on the screen.
I will back out of there. There we go.
I will now entertain a motion.
Mayor,
I make a
adopt resolution number 2156.
Okay, I second.
There's a motion on the floor. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Claude.
Thank you, Mayor.
Have a good evening. You take care. Stay safe.
Okay. Been a pleasure. Thank you. We'll look forward to reporting back.
Thank you.
Otra vez. Va a ser el mismo.
Peekaboo. Did you guys forget to take away his delegation?
Hmm?
Hi, Sonia, did they disconnect the meeting for everyone?
Yes, everyone's logging back in.
Yes, everybody got disconnected.
Okay.
We told him to leave, but we forgot to take away his his screen share. That's a good one. Hey, I gotta admit, that's the first time I have one of those happen in a year. It's fun when it happens.
I'm gonna do that with my students. I'm gonna give them screen share access and tell them to leave.
Yeah, but I bet you your students aren't gonna come back.
$157, a resolution of the Mayor and City Council, City of San Luis, Arizona, authorizing, directing, and entering into intergovernmental agreement with the Yuma Union High School District Number 70 for joint athletic and recreational facility use through the City Parks and Recreation Department and San Luis School as amended. Mr. Galaviz, Director of Parks and Recreation. Okay.
Yes, Louis asked me to present. Good evening, Mayor and council members. The school attorney had some very slight changes, and so this is the same IGA that we brought back several times now, where we share facilities with the school, and the school pays for the lights that we installed. Sonia, if you could go back to the summary and I can go through what the changes were that the attorney on the other side had. Oh, yes, we had that thing that was crossed out. We had a sentence in there that we thought we had eliminated before it went to the school about alcohol in the school premises, and of course they can't have that. And then they just added extra language clarifying that whoever is using the facilities will be responsible for this facility. So they just made that language a little stronger. And if you go down, and then this is just the summary that we've had every time we brought it back, the joint use and all that. So they'll be paying the light bill now for those lights and paying us $150,000 in a lump sum for the lights.
Okay, I have no questions. We discussed this already, so it's actually a win-win for the city and a win-win for the Human Union High School. So I have no questions. I'll go ahead and open it for discussion. Vice Mayor, comments, questions, or concerns?
None, Mayor.
Thank you. Let's see who's Africa. Luna Carazo, comments, questions, and concerns?
None, Mayor. It sounds good.
Thank you. Gloria Torres, comments, questions, and concerns?
No, Mayor, no comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Luis Carrera, comments, questions, and concerns?
None, thank you.
Mario Buchanan Jr., comments, questions, and concerns?
None, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. I will now entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 2157, approving the attached 2021 version of the IGA.
Second, Mayor.
There's a motion, there's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those against? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Item number 5F, discussion and possible action on matters regarding resolution number 2158. The resolution of the Mayor, City Council, City of San Luis, Arizona, authorizing, directing the entering into intergovernmental agreement with Yuma County Food Bank Control District for design, construction, and maintenance of a San Luis retention basin pump station.
Good evening.
Sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Vera. I said food bank, but it's flood control district. Sorry about that. For clarification, Mr. Vera, proceed.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. So this IGA, it's with the county flood control district. They've been working on a design for a lift station on a retention basin that's in the valley, which is just west of the intersection of San Luis Plaza Drive and U Street. That retention basin collects stormwater that's collected in pretty much in the old downtown, or the area between Archibald in the Mesa all the way to all the way to about Cesar Chavez Street, and in between D and all the way to B. So that's the two phases of the storm drain collection system that was installed when the downtown reconstruction was done, as well as the second phase, which was done a year after that. All that discharges to this retention basin. And then once it gets there, you know, the valley soils don't allow it to percolate, so it just stays there until it evaporates pretty much. And sometimes you can see the water there for a month, you know, on the bigger storms. So this pump station pretty much is what they call an outfall for the design. And it will just pump the water from the retention basin over to a canal that's only about, I can't remember, but it's less than 100 feet away. But this pretty much meets their own standard, which is, you know, the retention basins need to be drained within 5 days of a storm event. They're designing it, they'll be building it, and then they'll be turning it over to the city for perpetual maintenance. We would be responsible for, you know, routine maintenance as well as the power bill. And that's just one of the projects that Yuma County Flood Control District is working within our area. I think a second one that they're working on, which is not an agenda item, just for council information, is they're doing a drainage study on the northwest part of town, and they're doing Gadsden at the same time. But and that's just for your information. In this case, we're just talking about this lift station, and that's really what the IGA consists of. I'm not sure if there's any questions.
Mr. Vera, no, I have no questions. It's just that's something that need to happen, and that's good that we're doing this. And is this the only location where we have that problem, Mr. Vera?
No, another location that we have a similar problem is the retention basin in Las Brisas. That retention basin also on the bigger events, it gets full or close to full, and then it just stays there. Sometimes, I think on the last large storm event, staff, Public Works and Parks worked together on pumping it over to the East Main Canal. I've actually met and have discussed doing something similar for that retention basin, and I've discussed it with water users. But I just never been able to get a project going and take care of it. But that retention basin has the same issue. There were about 6 other retention basins that used to have that same problem. But with the CDBG projects that we've been doing, Merrill Avenue Phase 1 and 2, as well as Los Oros, those projects took care of 6 retention basins that had the same issue. And what we did, we connected those retention basins with a storm drain system, and we drain it strategically into the main drain. So right now, I think that the only one I can think of is, like I said, is the retention basin in Las Brisas that has a similar problem.
Okay, Mr. Vera, let's make sure that we commence or we start that project. Just add it to your list again, ×2, please.
Definitely, we'll work on that.
Thank you. I'm gonna now open the floor for discussion and possible questions or concerns. Vice Mayor, comments, questions, or concerns?
None, Mayor. Glad we're taking care of these little by little and down to a few only. So thank you, guys.
Very good. Thank you. Africa Luna Carrasco, comments, questions, or concerns?
No, Mayor. Thank you, staff.
Luis Cabrera, comments, questions, or concerns?
None. Thank you, Mayor.
Gloria Torres, comments, questions, or concerns?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Mario Buchanan Jr., comments, questions, or concerns?
None, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. I will now entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to adopt resolution number 2158.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion on the floor. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Vera.
Thank you.
Item number 5G, discussion and possible action on all matters regarding contract with DS Engineering and company associated with the expansion of City Hall. Mr. Jose Guzman, Director of Planning and Zoning.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. This item was budgeted for this fiscal year, but due to COVID, it was delayed. So I spoke with the finance director, and she gave me the green light to at least get the part of the design done for this project. We went with the DS Engineering since he was the original designer for the actual City Hall. We got a better price than other companies that we asked a quote for. So this is a necessity. This will help us with we have already outgrown the current City Hall. We are in need of more restrooms and more storage space to comply with the records retention. And since it was already budgeted, we want to try at least to get the design part done this fiscal year.
I have a quick question. It was budgeted this year, but we were starting barely the design. I mean, could we not have done the design before?
Yeah, all the capital improvements were put on hold to see the effects of COVID, and were released. I think it was November or December.
Okay. Okay. No. Okay. That's fine. That's good. Vice Mayor, comments, questions, or concerns?
No. Be interested to see what the design and the cost analysis comes in for the expansion.
Yeah. Mario Buchanan Jr., comments, questions, or concerns?
No, Mayor, none. Thank you.
Thank you. Luis Cabrera, comments, questions, or concerns?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Africa Luna Carrasco, comments, questions, or concerns?
None, Mayor.
Thank you. Gloria Torres, comments, questions, or concerns?
No, Mayor, thank you.
I will now entertain a motion.
Hey. Mayor, is that a pool in the middle?
Yes, it is. No.
Mayor, It is okay. Mayor, I move to approve as presented. I move to approve the contract with Adias Engineering Inc. in the amount of $24,000.
Is there a second?
Second, Mayor.
There's a motion on the floor. There's a second. All is in favor? Aye.
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 All is against? Motion carries.
Nay.
Nay. Sorry, Mayor, nay.
So how many nays are there? Roll call, please.
Mayor Gerardo Sanchez,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Matias Rosales,
Yay.
Councilmember Matthew Buchanan Jr.,
Yay.
Councilmember Luis Cabrera,
Nay.
Councilmember Africa Luna Carrasco,
Nay.
Councilmember Gloria Torres.
Nay.
We have 3 ayes and 3 nays. Motion dies.
Okay, thank you. Item number 5H, here, public hearing followed by discussion and possible action on matters regarding conditional use permit. Case number 2021-031, a request by Alejandra Munoz, owner for a conditional use permit to allow the construction of a accessory dwelling unit guest house on the property located at 11-5 North Escamilla Court. I will now entertain a motion to go public hearing.
So move, Mayor.
Second.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those against? Motion carries. It's now open public. Jose?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. As you mentioned, this is a request by Alejandra Munoz, property owner for a conditional use permit to allow a accessory dwelling unit guest house at the property located at 115 North Escamilla Court. So we have, as mentioned in the report, we have 7 criteria that they have to meet in order for an accessory dwelling unit to be allowed. One of the main concerns was the criteria number 7, that the dwelling unit cannot be used for commercial or non-residential uses, meaning that they will be allowed to rent the accessory dwelling unit. And the main concern was future code enforcement issues, but this application meets all the 7 criteria. We presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission on February 9th, and they recommended approval. And as mentioned, the application meets all the criteria, so staff is recommending approval of this request.
Jose, I have a quick question on this one. Okay, so it met all the criteria?
Yes.
And previous ones have not?
This is actually...
What makes it different? Is it the size of the lot?
Yeah. So one of the criteria is that they have to have at least 8,000 square feet of the lot, and this property has 12,000 square feet.
Is this a double lot?
Yeah, it was a lot that was, it went through a lot type to create, to do for the construction of the main house. If they will want to divide it again, it wouldn't be possible based on the location of the house, of the current house.
So they have the room, okay. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor for any discussions. Africa Luna Carrasco, comments, questions, or concerns?
None, Mayor.
Luis Cabrera, comments, questions, or concerns?
Matias, I have a question. with your knowledge, picking your brain, would this affect the houses in the community in value by any chance, or no? It doesn't really matter if they build.
Doesn't matter unless they're using it for rentals. I mean, even it doesn't matter. It's just it comes down to the design of the house, the look of the curb appeal. Right now, it's surrounded by vacant lots. That's actually worse.
Okay.
Looking at the aerial picture. Yeah.
Sounds good. No questions, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see here. Gloria, any comments, questions, or concerns?
No, Mayor, no questions.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, comments, questions, or concerns?
Just two questions. Mr. Guzman, you said this was a lot tie in the past?
Yeah.
So what's the actual lot size?
Originally?
Yeah, what's the actual lot size?
Oh.
You said 8,000, but no, that's the minimum. But
That's
what's
the
lot
minimum.
size?
The lot size right now is 12,140 square feet.
Okay, and then based on I saw the preliminary site plan that doesn't show the whole property. I'm assuming you guys are gonna get that corrected. But what size is the guest house estimated to be? I didn't see anything on there.
The livable area of the guest house is proposed to be 544 square feet. The primary dwelling unit is 1,442. So only 50% of the principal house is allowed to be the size of the dwelling. In this case, is less than 50%.
That house is not 1,042 square feet, the principal house.
I mean, 50% is 1,442. I'm sorry. The size is 2,884 square feet.
Okay. All right. And the only reason I'm asking this question is because the site plan that was presented on the agenda, that looked like a bigger than a 500 square foot guest house. Something like that. Looks like almost like a 990 square foot single family home that they're trying to build on there. So it was kind of deceiving. It wasn't very accurate. Has this been brought to the council before for approval, or is this the first time that it's being presented to us? I don't recall in the past 8 years.
This is the first case that was ever brought to council.
For us?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it meets all the 7 points, this and that. Okay.
Yeah.
And just for clarification, what's the difference between a guest house and an actual residence? It doesn't have what is it? Kitchenette. It doesn't have a sink in the bathroom, right, or something like that.
Yeah, the kitchen.
The kitchen doesn't have a sink, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Mario, okay, thank you. Mario, County Junior, comments, questions, or concerns?
None, Mayor. If it meets the criteria, I don't have any questions.
Perfect. Staff, any comments, questions, or concerns from staff? Tadeo, okay.
I did see Mayor Glenn made a comment on there. I don't know if it's going to be read out loud or not.
Mayor,
Yes, please read.
if I may,
Yes.
I would like to state for the record that this is a public hearing and the city clerk's office did not receive any comments in favor of or against the item.
Okay. So what was Luis talking about? Glenn made a comment.
Made a legal opinion that in his, on the notes, that in his opinion, this is a rental, potential future rental. But again, that's code enforcement, and if someone makes a complaint.
And that's speculation. That's speculation.
That's speculation, yeah. Yeah, so.
We can't run government on speculation.
That's what I'm saying. As long as it meets all the 8 points and the 7 points and compliance, I mean, there's so much I have issues with.
Yeah, that was my big concern. The 7 points, or the 8 points actually. Okay, so Sonia, no objections to the proposal, nothing like that from the public.
No, Mayor.
Thank you.
What kind of notice is mailed out for this? Is it the same as the rest, 300 feet, or what is it?
Yeah, 300 feet. We sent out 51 letters to the neighbors.
Okay, and this is to their PO boxes, right? Not the residents, right?
Correct. Yeah. If we don't have a PO box, we deliver to the house in person.
Oh, okay. You do? Okay, great. I didn't know that. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns, or comments? If not, I will now entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So move,
So
Mayor.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor. There's a second. All those in favor?
All right.
All those
Aye.
against? All those against? Motion carries. I will now entertain a motion.
I move to
Mayor,
approve.
to approve conditional use permit case number 2020-031 as presented by staff.
Second.
There's a motion on the floor. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion carries. I will now entertain a motion. Oh, actually, David's done. Thank you. Motion to adjourn as city council and convene as board of adjustments. I want to entertain a motion.
So move.
So, second.
There's a motion on the floor. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion carries. Public hearing followed by discussion and possible action on all matters regarding variance case number 2021044, a request by Alejandro and Maria Lopez, owners, for a variance to reduce the rear yard setback from 10 feet to 5 feet for the construction of a room addition on the property located at 514 North Fuentes Drive. I will now entertain a motion to open public hearing.
So move, Mayor.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
A motion on the floor. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those
Aye.
against? Motion carries. Jose?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, this is the request for a variance to reduce the rear setback from 10 feet to 5 feet for the room addition. The property is located at 514 North Fuentes Drive, and as stated by the state statutes and the city code, in order to approve a variance from the city code, they have to comply with the 4 criteria established by the state law. So we did the analysis, and staff determined that the request does not meet the criteria. In the criteria number 1 is that there are special circumstances or conditions regarding this property that doesn't apply to other properties around. And we didn't find any special circumstances. The room addition can be done to the south of the property on the blue rectangle that is drawn on the picture. They have about 30 feet to the room addition to that side. So there's no special circumstances. The criteria number 2 is that the special circumstances are pre-existing and not created or self-imposed. In this case, are self-imposed, and it can be fixed by doing redesign and doing the room to the south side of the property. The criteria number 3 is that the variance is necessary for the preservation of substantial property rights. In this case, the property can still be used as a residence, so it doesn't lose any of their property rights. And number 4, that it will be detrimental to people residing or working in the vicinity or adjacent properties. And in this case, in any other case, any reduction of setbacks, even though some changes are minimal, it increases the potential fire spread between structures. So since this request does not meet that criteria, staff is recommending denial of this variance.
But Jose, but you're willing, if they built the room on the other side, there should be no problem?
Yeah, they have the space they have about 30 feet to the side of the property.
And this was discussed with the property owners?
Yeah, it was.
And the response was?
They still wanted to continue with the variance.
Are those structures next to the house, what kind of structures are they?
Those with those agreements.
The ones
Those are
approved
what?
by
I'm sorry?
council.
The structure in front has agreements until the property owner sells the house. They have to be taken down.
Okay.
Stage structures, and looks like there's one of them is a little storage shed, right?
Yeah.
Which that's probably under the 200 square feet requirement. Hopefully. Guzman, I don't recall if you said it or not, I apologize. How much percentage of the lot is remaining with the current structure?
I don't have that information, but it is less than the
required, right?
Than the required, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell right off the bat.
Yeah, I get that. I'm gonna open the floor for discussion. Luis Cabrera, comments, questions, and concerns?
None, Mayor, thank you.
Gloria, comments, questions, and concerns?
No, Mayor.
Matias, comments, questions, and concerns?
Well, no, it's just I voiced my questions already. Thank you.
Thank you. Africa Luna Carrasco, comments, questions, and concerns?
None, Mayor, thank you.
Mario Buchanan Jr., comments, questions, and concerns?
None, Mayor, thanks.
Thank you. Staff, Tadeo, comments, questions, or concerns?
None, Mayor. Thank you.
Jose?
Mayor, I do.
Please, Ralph.
Jose, what is the density percentage on this lot?
Ralph, I don't have that, the percentage of the current lot, but I know I checked that it's less than the 50% allowed.
Even if you had this proposed building?
Yeah, since the shades have those agreements, it will be considered as a temporary structure.
No, I'm not referring to the shades, the actual building, the addition. Does that put it over the lot coverage requirement?
Yeah, it will meet the requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Ralph, explain yourself.
He's asking this. He's asking the same question.
So I'm sorry, Vice Mayor, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Every zoning parcel, commercial, industrial, or residential, has a density percentage, meaning you can only have so much under roof, be it a single family or a commercial building. I don't know, based on this map, I don't know the size of the lot. And I was wondering if the existing house added to the addition exceeds the ordinance lot coverage, the density, they call it density.
Yeah.
And it's hard to read based on this map, but according to Jose, it's okay.
No, Jose is saying it does exceed currently, even because they have to count the shade structures because of the agreement. So right now, even with the single family home and the shade structures, it already exceeds that. He doesn't know exactly by how much, but it already does. That's what I understood from Guzman, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's
even without the addition, it already exceeds it. So with the addition, we're in the worst case scenario.
Yeah, so the maximum allowed is 50%. So that lot currently have empty land on the south side, about 32 feet times 100 feet of the length of the lot. So that's about 3,200 square feet.
3,200.
Yeah.
Actually, Jose, I do have a question. So it looks like based on the location where he's at, he doesn't have neighbors to the back of the house, right? Because he's on 9th Street.
Correct. Yeah, the rear of the property is the street, 9th Avenue.
Mayor, one more question.
Please, ask.
So Jose, if he tears down those shade structures, does he have an argument?
No, because he doesn't meet the criteria.
Okay,
He
thank
still,
you.
he still can build the room addition to the south of the property.
All right, thanks.
Okay. My biggest concern is we start a trend, and the thing is, we've had other residents come in, and the thing is, once we start doing it one, we have to do it to everyone. So we need to make sure we don't set a trend of residents.
And especially when they don't meet the criteria, that's the big issue here.
That's the biggest issue, but I just want to make sure everyone understands. Okay, so go ahead.
That's a small lot? Very small lot? How big is the lot?
Probably about 5,400 square feet in that area.
Oh, the chiquito.
Yeah, está chiquito. Por eso ya con you show the house itself, like they say, there's not gonna be enough room.
No, yeah.
Okay, if there's no more questions, I will now entertain a motion to close public hearing.
So move, Mayor.
Second, Mayor.
There's a motion, there's a second. All is in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All is against? Motion carries. I will now entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move to deny variance on, I move to deny variance on case number 2021-44 because the application does not fit the criteria for variance per staff.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, there's a motion, there's a second. All is in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All is against? Motion carries. Motion to return to regular council meeting.
Move, Mayor.
Second.
There's a motion, there's a second. All is in favor?
Aye.
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 All is against? Motion carries. Thank you. We're now left with summary of current events by mayor, city council members, and or city manager pursuant to ARS 38-431.02. Any reports from council?
And Mayor, starting to see a lot of movement, a lot of just these little cases, people getting more comfortable. Hopefully it's not a mistake we're doing. So.
No, I know.
I'm curious to hear from staff how the event went last week.
I was there, Matias, for a few minutes. I went during my lunchtime, and it seemed like it was going great. So thank you, Tadeo, for all the hard work. The people were coming in and out, and some of our employees got vaccinated as well. So that was awesome.
Thank you, Councilmember. Adding to that, yes, I want to report, we conducted our first vaccination clinic last Friday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I want to thank all the staff that helped us out in organizing, taking appointments, applications, phone calls. So 540 doses were applied. About 15 employees that were helping out of the left out vaccines were able to get the vaccine as well. I got a comment from Councilmember Ponce that he got a call about someone actually not complaining, but giving kudos to the staff and everyone that was helping out, because we didn't have long lines of people waiting outside or anything like that, where we don't need to call it 911. Residents that did not have an appointment and showed up were understanding of the need for an appointment, and hopefully we'll get more vaccines to San Luis. And also we'll keep encouraging people and employees to get vaccinated if they're able to get the vaccine somewhere else.
Anyone else?
Mayor, committee is going to have the vaccine this Friday. And Monday, we had a big line of people that were waiting from 4 o'clock in the morning to return her applications. But we have about 6 or 7. We started taking the application and register the people, and we doing very fast. For 2 o'clock, there was no people waiting. So we're doing pretty good, and we're hoping that this Friday we can do it well.
Very good job. Thank you. Very good job. Anyone else? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move, Mayor.
Second.
There's a motion. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Motion carries. Have a good night, guys. Stay safe, por favor.